Businesses make a lot of money off of miserable people. Sounds pretty controversial, but we're going to break it down and make it less ominous so it doesn't sound too crazy. I tend to be inspired by conversations if you guys haven't figured it out. But I was having another conversation with a colleague of mine, and ultimately I was explaining how the best way for you to create a successful business is to really figure out, number one, what message do you have and what market are you targeting? What got this conversation going was we're talking about how misery loves company. And usually what that refers to is people that sort of gossip, if you will, or they talk about their problems and their struggles. But a lot of times the problem with that is it's almost like a perpetual cycle where there's never an end because they just keep passing around bad story after bad story. And there's no solution, right? So the idea of misery loves the company is that people in a certain market or target demographic ultimately have a problem. And it's the intelligence and wisdom of the entrepreneur that can identify that. And then they can say, you know what, I have a great idea. How about I solve this problem that these particular people have? And in order to make sure I find these people and these people find me, I'm going to create the right message. So it's sort of like that gossip, if you will, or AKA word of mouth. And I'm going to target that message towards this particular market to let them know that, hey, I'm aware of the problem that you have, but here's the twist, right? So when I say misery loves the company, the twist is that a company ultimately is in business to provide the solution to the problem, right? So ultimately, people who are in that target market will get wind of this message and they'll say, wow, how did they know? This is a problem that I've had for a very long time, and this is the solution. This company can fix it. And then they try out the product or service, and if done correctly, they love it. They're like, wow, I love this company. Like literally, I love their product. I love their service, whichever it is. They literally know exactly what my problem is, and they solve that problem perfectly. And suddenly, this is the reason why a lot of businesses make a lot of money off of miserable people, AKA customers, right? So I know it sounds crazy, sounds kind of dark, but ultimately customers are in some form of misery. And if you listen really closely, you hear them talking about it. You hear them saying like, I really wish that there was something that can do this, or I have this other product, and because of that, now I have this new problem. For instance, some genius creates a company with an app, using AI and technology, and they learn how to, market to a certain audience who says, I really wish I could just get people to deliver things to me. Maybe you don't have time, maybe you don't have transportation, and you want it to be brought to you. So this company creates an app, and they actually end up realizing that, hey, there's one problem, that there are a bunch of people who want access to certain products, but they can't get access to it. And then you have other people who realize, wow, there's a bigger problem now. There's a lot more people than there are delivery drivers. So some of those people may appear to be basic employees, but they end up becoming independent contractors, and they get their first taste of business. They're like, I can be an independent contractor. I can work my own schedule however I want, as long as I want or as little as I want, and I can dip in and dip out, and I can solve the problem of not enough delivery drivers for potential customers. And suddenly, there's all these different problems that keep coming up based on solving one problem. So just gave you guys a hint there. If you look at some of the products and services that you currently love, if you really look closely, you'll probably find there's problems that these things solve. And the bigger opportunity is there's problem that these solutions create. So it's sort of a crazy thing because it's almost like the chicken and the egg, like which ones come first. But ultimately, it's sort of like whoever comes to market first, that's the person who creates the solution. They make their money off of that particular message. And then someone else realizes, hey, if that message is going out and a lot of people are talking about it, aka misery loves the company, there's got to be some loopholes. There's got to be some opportunities here where this solution is creating another problem. They say that good news travels fast, bad news travels faster. Misery loves company. Think about people gossiping, all the energy behind that. Some people gossip about things for years, and I'm not condoning that because I don't think that that's a good thing. But ultimately, it is a problem, right? And it shows you how misery loves company, or misery loves a company. They love to talk about the problem. So what you need to do is figure out, what are the conversations surrounding what problems, and what are you passionate about solving? Now, I wouldn't recommend that you just jump into something just to get a little bit of money off of it. Now, granted, I'm not going to speak against that, because if you need the money, you got to do what you got to do, right? But ultimately, if you really listen, every product, every market has solutions and tons of problems. Think about which one you're most excited about. So which market are you really passionate about serving? Which problem are you passionate about providing a solution for? Which passion do you have that you have the strongest solution for? What's the big payoff of providing the solution to the customer? Like, is this a big market, a little market, a dying market? Because we have to ask those questions nowadays with technology. There's so many different things that's coming out that we can't just get stuck on what appears to be good now. We have to have a vision of the future. We have to think about, where is this thing going? And so I want you to think about all of that. But just to keep it really simple, the biggest way to make sure that you're going to get conversion of sales for said products and services is to make sure that whatever you're providing to the market, there's a good base of people who really have a problem that this particular product or service becomes the solution for. And if you can do that, and you do all your market research around it, then you'll find a lot of lucrative success. Of course, that's just the beginning. And so in future videos, we'll talk more about, how to keep that going, like scaling. Matter of fact, if you guys haven't seen it, check out this video right here on how to scale your business. Okay? Real simple. I mean, these are questions everyone asks, but we have really innovative solutions and clear perspectives on how to go about doing that, how to think through it, right? But ultimately, the first thing to do is figure out how to get started. And a lot of people are trying to figure out, man, there's so many opportunities, but I don't know which way to go. Well, a lot of people never realize that. What's the problem? What's the solution? Are you passionate about it? Can you provide that solution? If you can, you got a business. All right? So I want to keep this one short and sweet. Everybody comment, like, share, subscribe. Most importantly, if you guys are looking for the business credibility checklist as well as other tips and tricks, go ahead and comment, and we'll shoot you guys our email link so you can sign up, and you can basically stay abreast of all the different things that we have coming out. We have a lot of freebie giveaways and a lot of good offers that you guys are going to be really interested in. So I want to make sure we all stay in tune. Until the very next time, one love. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Be blessed. Peace.